Should you have a list or should you settle for the least?
Hi guys, nice to have you on the vlog again. Hope you've been enjoying watching us so far. We've enjoyed having your comments, questions, answers. Alright, so straight to it. So today we're talking about something pretty interesting, and somehow it seems it's supposed to be only girls who do this. Yeah. So today we're talking about the list.
The list.
or the list. So what should be the list on your list?
On your list, exactly.
So list as in L-E-A-S-T, on your L-I-S-T, on your L-I-S-T, on your L-I-S-T.
That's what we're all about.
Should you have a list?
Should you have a list or should you settle for the least? Anyway, let's start with this. Did you have a list or no? Your name is LL, the first letter in the list is L. So.
I hear. I don't think I categorically had a list.
I cannot categorically tell you that one now.
I don't remember ever having number 1 to 3 or number 1 to 4. I just kind of knew what I wanted and what I didn't want.
So I was an accidental partner. You didn't have a list. You're not looking out for me. So
no, I wasn't looking out for you, and I've said it over and over. But let me land. I said it over and over again that I didn't see my husband coming, so there's no way I couldn't have had a list for you.
Okay.
So I didn't have a list for you, and even when I met you, I didn't like you. Remember? So I wasn't planning my life.
Yeah, right.
With you I didn't like you when I met you.
You didn't know that you liked me.
We've gone through this so many times.
You didn't admit that you liked me.
When I did, okay. When I started liking you, I told you now.
Yeah. So fast forward to the point where you started liking me.
Because what's not the part we're talking about? We are not talking about that part. Anywho's, so I didn't have a list. I just kind of knew what I wanted. I mean, I believe I had brain.
You had what?
Brain.
Okay.
Sense. What did you hear? What did you hear?
Continue.
You still tell me, Sha. So I had brain. I'd attended single fellowship. I'd had read. So.
But you had okay. Let me tell you.
I had expectations.
Okay.
Yeah. But when you say list, as in the way people really go, I wanted him to be short. I wanted him to be dark. I wanted him.
So you didn't have those kind of expectations. What were your expectations?
Not really. Okay, maybe obviously, number one, God. And for me, the kind of God I wanted wasn't just, oh, he goes to church or he's an usher. I wanted more. So that
There's nothing wrong with ushers.
There's nothing wrong with having a guy that is that, or
and
that is as much as that.
As fine as usher.
Even the cameraman, I have to say this part. Even on the cameraman is squeezing face. The reason why we talk now.
He's smiling.
Okay, as you like it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. Are expectations the same thing as a list?
Well, we'll leave the viewers to talk about that. But I think that when people talk about a list, not everybody thinks about I have a fool's cap sheet or a plain sheet. I've got my T-square, my compass, my math set, and I'm describing and prescribing the angle of his ogo and the
some people are quite
thickness of his
some people are quite
and
intentional about it.
Yeah, some people
I was
like
not
that,
intentional in the sense of okay, he shouldn't be this, he must be that. No, it was just.
But you had certain expectations, right? Didn't you?
Yeah.
Because like C.S. Lewis said, it's difficult to recognize something if you don't know what it looks like. So what that means is if you don't have some kind of framework, you might not even know whether you found the person or not.
Okay, maybe that's what happened with us, because I can tell maybe for the core foundational things I knew what I wanted, and we'll come to that.
Yes.
There are some basic things that just have to be in place. So
Absolutely.
I had those.
Okay.
So I didn't have because it was when I now met you. No, there was one more person before you. That sounded wrong, but yeah. Stay on point.
Rolling my eyes like the camera tape. What do you mean one more person before me? Did you have like a target number, list of number of men?
You have misconstrued my words. What I mean, let me land.
Land? Are you flying?
So my point is, so for example, it was when I met you that I realized I didn't want to get married to someone who talked a lot. So I never had a list of marry someone who doesn't talk a lot. It was when I met you. Okay, don't take this the wrong way. Should I say this?
Of course, I'll take it the wrong way. See, once your partner says don't take this the wrong way, just know that you're going to take it the wrong way.
Okay, so
Exception,
we can cut this if you don't want this. But in all my life, well, not all my life.
All my life.
For the longest time, when
someone like you.
So I wanted somebody who was like bigger, gymmed, and all of that.
Gymmed.
Yeah.
As in J-I-M-M-E-D.
What does that even mean? Like
Gym jam. As you would say.
Gym and all. So that's the kind of person I want. And then when you came, you were, you know, like how you say, brave, straight to the point, down to earth, all of that. So it was then I said like, I prefer that. But I mean, you've kind of changed my taste now and all. So I didn't have a list. This whole physical features and bank account features and all of that. I didn't have that kind of list. I
But you had expectations.
Of
Okay,
the core.
so let's talk about expectations, because I never wrote a list. But there were certain non-negotiables I had in terms. Why I say non-negotiables, don't get me wrong. Let me say preset expectations, more like in terms of stature. So I didn't want somebody who was taller than me. I could deal with somebody that was open. I was like, okay, the person is 2 inches taller than me. I could work with that.
You see, that's a list. Who is that saying 2 inches taller? That's a list.
So my ideal was someone who was a minimum of 2 inches shorter, and then maximum of 2 inches taller. I wanted somebody that was about this light, maybe 2 shades darker, maybe 2-3 shades darker than you, or 2-3 shades lighter than you. So those were like some of my physical expectations, because I wanted someone that was very beautiful. I wanted someone I could look at and say, oh.
He also wanted someone with long hair and long legs.
Oh yes, okay.
You so had a list.
so I wanted someone that had, you know, that was a Rapunzel, yeah. So I wanted someone that had that kind of long hair, like a rich, maybe not the floor, but like middle of the back, you know, to start with, and then somebody who had long legs, you know. But when I met her, all of those things just sort of like fizzled out, because the core things like friendship, like trust, for me, I could trust her with myself, my future, with my abilities, my resources, like help or care, sincere concern. So all of those things became weightier. So let's talk about, how do you deal with people who have lists and they're so stuck? Yeah, they use faith, they use confession, you know, they watch movies that reinforce that. How should they handle it?
That's what I'd say. I'd say it's fine to have expectations and what you desire. I mean, like someone was saying, what does God profit from punishing you with somebody that you don't like, right? So I get that, but I think we also need to be, I don't know if the word is realistic or flexible,
I guess.
Or like you were saying something about there are essentials and then there are things that are really not essential in the long run, in the big picture. So you need to now chill and just say, you know what, in the picture of my life, my family, my purpose, my career and everything, these things can really be done away with. So I don't think you should now stay
stuck up. The post you're referring to was a couple of weeks ago, and I talked about the core and the crust. And generally when I post online, I don't have like a script, so I write from my heart, and it got a lot of engagement because I believe many people are dealing with that. There's a societal expectation of where does he work, what does he drive, what does he look like, who does he know, how connected is he, does he have a Mont Blanc or a Hublot, you know, or does she have enough money for the Gucci and the Prada and the whatever designer it is. But that's the crust, the looks, the hooks, as in the lines that he drops, the lyrics. Those are the crust, but the core issues are extremely important. And I know that there might be somebody right now who's struggling with that. You're right in the middle of that. So Ella, let's talk about some of the things that we believe are core issues based on our experience so far, and, you know, interfacing with other married people or even young couples or soon to be married, people we've counseled, and all of, what are some of the core?
I think for us, obviously, the first thing would be the God factor. And I know if people say it's number one, it must be God fearing.
G factor.
But for real, I think a lot of challenges have been overcome easier because we have God. And I think
God has us.
The friendship, the commitment. I think very big for me is the commitment, because if you feel like you still have mommy's house to go to, or you still have that friend to run to, or you have some form of escape, then you can say, okay, I can deal with this marriage. But once you know that you've jammed the door, thrown the key away, or you're so that commitment for me is very key.
I remember something, this might help somebody. I was sharing at a certain church about a month ago now, and I talked about no Noah's Ark. And I talked about how many people don't appreciate what was going on in Noah's Ark. And I talked about the power of a family, and that when they got into Noah's Ark, or the Ark that Noah built, that God locked the door. So think about how they were farting, as in Yoruba, now mess, and in local parlance, now mess. They were farting in the Ark, right? The food was going bad in the Ark. Sorry, people were doing the dump in the Ark, but they were locked in the Ark. And I think that's a good metaphor even for marriage. That sometimes someone is going to fart, like literally. And I think I've gotten a few awards at reconfiguring the temperature and anyway, you get the point. So, but we're still all in the Ark, and so the commitment is important. God factor. Friendship, I believe, is extremely important. Now, not everybody has the privilege of dating for 3, 4, 5 years, but even if it's 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, the frequency of interaction, the sincerity of the conversation, the openness, the vulnerability, which oftentimes grows over time. It's not the easiest thing for you to just become vulnerable like that, especially if you've had some bad experiences with people in your past. But those are some of the quite essentials. Also, mutual accountability, conversation, somebody you can talk to, talk with, somebody you can fool around with. By fool around, I don't mean the negative sense, but just being yourself
with. Yeah, I think this helps. Let us know what you think about this. Let us know if you have a list, what you think should be on the list, and if you're married already, how is that list working out now? I mean, there's some things that haven't changed. I mean, I didn't want to get married to someone who talks a lot. My husband talks for a living, so I'm stuck. So how do you deal with those kind of things? If some expectations on your list are not met and you still go ahead to marry that person because you realize in the big picture it doesn't matter, have you dealt with that? Let us know, and then maybe in the future we'll also tell you how we've dealt with our
most definitely
the things on our list.
Also add to that, what's the least on your list that you're willing to settle for, if you will. Let's use the expression. Now in the next video, we're going to be talking about our differences and how we're working through those differences in practical and tactical terms. But for now, if you know somebody who loves love,
Who is in love,
who's praying to find love,
or hoping that love finds them,
do send them this video, share the link with them through your social media platforms, and let us create a robust conversation. You never can tell what part of this discussion will enrich somebody's life, lift them off the doldrums or the complacency and challenges they have in their marriages, and set them on the right course. Until the next video, we'll talk about our differences and how we're working through them. Bye!